Hi everyone, welcome to our third Co-op and Scholarships Google Hangout. My name is Jourdon Erin. I'm a fourth year in the Finance and Banking Co-op program, and this is...
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm from UNSW Scholarships, and I'll be talking to you about scholarships today.
Fantastic. So to kick things off, just a quick reminder that we have the live chat questionnaire running. So if you have any questions for us throughout the presentation, please feel free to jump online and type those in there. And if you wanted to check out either of our previous Google Hangouts, those links are on the screen now. And now over to Erin to chat about some scholarships.
So UNSW offers over $15 million per annum for a variety of coursework scholarships. Through scholarships, we are able to recognise achievement, provide financial support, promote diversity, and make tertiary study accessible. We have a large range of equity and merit scholarships available in the areas listed. The number and value of the scholarships available is growing. Most scholarships provide a stipend to help you with the living costs associated with coming to university. Accommodation scholarships provide financial assistance to allow students to live on campus, and travel scholarships open the door to global opportunities. Equity scholarships are a growing focus for UNSW. These scholarships assist students with financial need and/or other disadvantages. While we hope many of you will apply for and receive scholarships this year, we also support many current students to make the most of their studies at university. For example, via scholarships to go on exchange or to undertake an honours year or research project. So, how can you get a scholarship? So for merit scholarships, you need to submit a direct application to the UNSW Scholarships or Co-op program website. For equity scholarships, you need to apply directly to UAC. Then we also have a range of merit scholarships that are awarded automatically based on your UAC application for admission, such as our Scientia scholarships. Scholarship ads will state if you need to apply through UNSW Scholarships, UAC, or if no application is required, under the selection or how to apply sections. So here we have a snapshot of just some of the many scholarships available via direct application through the UNSW Scholarships website. While some scholarships look at your academic achievement alone, we also recognise that you may make a contribution in other ways to your school and community. Some of our scholarships look at qualities such as leadership, community service, extracurricular or sporting activities, as well as your academic achievement. For example, you may be combining tertiary study with your career as an elite athlete, in which case you should apply for our elite athlete scholarships for high school leavers. If you are interested in a particular faculty, you may be able to apply for scholarships linked to that faculty. If you're not sure what you want to study, or if there aren't any scholarships currently linked with your subject area, we encourage you to apply for the UNSW All-Rounder Scholarship, as your application for this scholarship may be used to award other scholarships. Scholarships are continually being added to our website, so there may be more opportunities in the future. We encourage you to check out our website over the course of your degree to see what opportunities become available. So now I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we're looking for in our applications. The different types of scholarships mean that we are looking for many different things in our scholars. Generally speaking, we want to know what type of contribution you will make at UNSW, because as a scholar, you will join a very important UNSW community and be an ambassador for UNSW more generally. We want to know what programs you are interested in studying at UNSW and why. We want to know what leadership skills and potential you may possess. How do you work as part of a team? We want to know what you do in your school and your wider community. What extracurricular activities do you participate in? What do you spend your time doing, and what are you truly passionate about? Your application gives us a picture of what makes you unique and is an opportunity to highlight the potential that we hope to support with this scholarship. So moving on to equity scholarships, the UNSW 2025 strategy has a goal to increase the equity and diversity of our student body, and scholarships will play a large factor in that. These are just 3 of the many equity scholarship programs currently available. We will be offering about 30 UNSW accommodation scholarships, 30 UNSW access scholarships, and 122 President and Vice Chancellor's equity scholarships in 2019. And these are all available to high school leavers for the minimum duration of your program. Students who've submitted an educational access scheme application for 2018-19 and received an offer to study at UNSW will automatically be considered for these scholarships. There will also be opportunities to apply for equity scholarships if you are commencing university via other pathways or you're currently enrolled at UNSW. To be considered, you will need to submit an equity scholarship application via UAC. If any of these circumstances apply to you, you may be eligible to apply for an equity scholarship. Applications are assessed by UAC and there are clear guidelines on the supporting documents required, so please make sure you look at the UAC website for more information. So now we'll talk a little bit more about the Educational Access Schemes, otherwise known as EAS. It helps to help students whose education has been negatively affected during year 11 and 12 and receive an offer to study at university. EAS applications can be completed online through your undergraduate application by clicking the Apply for EAS button. There is also an option to download a hard copy application form if you're unable to submit online. The EAS website lists the disadvantages that you can claim and provides detailed instructions on how to apply, so make sure you visit the website listed on this page and read through the information carefully. The EAS website also will advise what supporting documents are required. It is important to ensure that you have included all supporting documentation with the EAS application, as UAC will not contact you regarding missing or insufficient supporting documentation. So we also have equity scholarships, and applications for equity scholarships are also submitted directly to UAC and are now open through to February 2019. UNSW will participate in multiple offer rounds, and these are listed on our website. For more information on how it works and how to apply, please go to the website listed above. So lastly, some of our scholarships are selected automatically based on your results or your application for admission. This means you do not have to submit an application for this particular scholarship. Here are a couple of examples of scholarships that are available through automatic selection. First, we have our CNTS scholarships, which are awarded to students who receive 99.9 and above. We also have the Alfred and Dorothy May Anderson Scholarship, which supports students with the highest WAM entering the Science Education program. Some Indigenous scholarships are also based on the Indigenous Admission Scheme through Nuragili, and the Academic Achievement Award is awarded to New South Wales and ACT students who receive the highest ATAR at their school and come to UNSW. As I mentioned before, these are only a few of the scholarships available, so make sure you check our website for more scholarships. So now that we've gone through the different kinds of ways you can get scholarships, here are just a couple of things to remember while looking for and applying for scholarships. So firstly, check eligibility and selection criteria and the method of application. So do you apply directly through UAC or to UNSW scholarships, or is it automatic selection? Make sure you're giving full and comprehensive answers. One-sentence answers will not make you stand out. You need to provide examples to show us what you've achieved. We are interested in your high school achievements, in particular your Year 12 and Year 11 achievements, so take some time to draft your answers in a Word doc first. And remember, save regularly. It is also really important that you provide supporting documents that verify what you are saying in your application. At the very least, you should supply your Year 12 report cards. You should also include any certificates that you've received for your achievements, such as certificates for completing the Duke of Edinburgh, participating in academic competitions, or peer support programs, or volunteering. You need to combine these documents into one PDF to upload with your application. There may be some specific questions for some direct applications, so if this is the case, take some time to think about how you're going to answer these questions. Remember, this is your time to highlight how great you are and what you've learned from your experiences. If you don't tell us how awesome you are, we won't know. So here's just a reminder of the closing dates. Scholarships applications are due by 30th of September, and that's directly to the UNSW Scholarships website. EAS applications are due to UAC by 30 November. The equity scholarships are due to UAC also by the 12th of December. So our website has a lot of details on it. Make sure you check out our high school leavers and future student scholarships page. which includes links to tutorials on how to apply, a video from our info night, as well as other helpful details. Make sure you also check out our FAQ page to read through our answers to our most frequently asked questions. Before I hand over to Jourdon for co-op, I'll cover a few of our most frequently asked questions with him.
Yeah, so that's a lot of great information, Erin. So to start off with, just to cover some of the key questions that might come up. So how many scholarships, if I'm a high school leaver, can I actually apply for?
So our general advice is you may apply for, be offered and accept multiple scholarships. However, the manager of UNSW Scholarships will make a determination on which scholarships can be held concurrently based on the terms and conditions of the various scholarships. If you're lucky enough to receive multiple scholarship offers, you will need to contact the scholarships office to confirm whether you can hold them concurrently.
Fantastic. Okay, and this one probably of interest to a lot of our viewers. Can I hold another scholarship concurrently if I am selected to be part of the co-op program?
Potentially. With the co-op program, you can hold the AAA and or the Scientia, not all three together. However, with the Scientia, you'll only get the first 5,000, but you can still participate in the rest of the Scientia program. For all other scholarships, it will depend on the terms and conditions of their scholarship. If you receive an offer for another scholarship, you must contact UNSW Scholarships to check if you can hold the scholarships concurrently.
And so if I've locked in my application, happy with it, sent it off, but then I realised I've made a mistake or feel like I need to change something, is that possible to do after I've submitted the application?
You can still unsubmit your application before the closing date, which means you can edit your application up until this time. You just need to click on the Complete Your Draft Applications and Submit in the left-hand menu and find the little red undo arrow next to the scholarship you wish to unsubmit. Once you have completed your application, you will then need to resubmit it before the due date.
Yeah, that's a big one. Make sure you actually do resubmit. And then, so if I receive a scholarship, but then potentially want to postpone uni or take a gap year or something, is it possible to actually defer those scholarships?
Again, it's going to depend on the scholarship's terms and conditions. So if you're choosing to defer your program or for taking a gap year, something like that, and you've received an offer for a UNSW scholarship, you'll need to contact our office to check if your scholarship can be deferred or not.
Right. And then last one, so if I was to submit and go through it all, when will I actually know the outcome of my application?
So we'll be making offers progressively from December onwards.
Okay.
Now, I hope you're all ready to apply for a scholarship. If you have any questions that we haven't answered here today, you can visit the FAQ page in case it's answered there, or contact us directly using the contacts provided here. Now, back to Jourdon to talk more about the co-op program.
Perfect. So just on our live chat, just before I jump in with some more co-op information, so we've got a couple of questions. The first one is from Serafina L. So the question is, in the UAC application, does the co-op course have to be the first preference? The answer is no. The co-op program does not need to be the first preference for you to be accepted into the program. However, just understand that how UAC works is that it will take the top ranked selection you put in that you're actually eligible for based on the criteria for that course. And then our second question we've got is, how much time should I leave to submit my co-op application schools assessment? The answer to that one is, please get it in ASAP. A lot of careers advisors or principals are very busy at this time of year. Schools may go on break. So it's important to give them as much time as possible to fill that in so it can all be put through. So yeah, another reminder, just please nominate as soon as possible because we are now well into August and applications are closing September 28th. So try and get that moving now. Okay, so now on to a little bit of a recap of our last two Google Hangouts. So hopefully by now, if you're watching this video, you have a broad understanding of what the co-op program is, but here's a little refresher. So the co-op program, with our 150 leading sponsor companies, in excess of 150 actually, is sort of the product of five key support elements beyond a world-class university education at UNSW. So the first of that is between 9 and 18 months of industry experience with top-tier sponsors. The second component, moving along, is professional development, as well as leadership training. So throughout your time as a co-op, not only will you receive the practical work experience, but you'll also receive hands-on training to prepare for those. so that you can hit the ground running and perform in a professional environment and as a leader when you're asked to step up. The next one is a broad network of providing mentoring and networking assistance. So as a co-op coming into the program, it's invaluable to sort of have the experience of both older co-ops and a really wide range of alumni who have gone through exactly what you're about to go through, can give you lots of great advice about how to approach things, someone to check in with, bounce ideas off about whether it's uni or your career. So there's a huge opportunity there. And then finally, the financial reimbursement or financial sponsorship of $18,200 per annum tax-free, which is a huge help to kick things off in your university time. So moving on now, so the main focus for the rest of this Google Hangout will sort of be around moving through the application steps and the key questions. So your first port of call, hopefully again, all of you have done this. If not, please get onto it as soon as possible. Make sure you are registering. So the first step in the registration process is to let us know if you're a high school leaver and looking to enter university next year, or if you're looking to take a gap year, or you are currently on a gap year and coming back from that. So we need to know. Next, if you are a high school leaver, it's very important that you submit to us your UAC number. If you started your co-op application a while back before UAC has issued those numbers, that's fantastic. Hopefully it's coming along great. But please make sure to come back to this page and properly enter in those details, because we really need that to process your application correctly. Yeah, and if you are applying as someone who's come after a gap year, that won't be necessary. Okay, so this is our co-op scholarships application homepage. So this is sort of where you'll come to after you log in. As you can see, the application is split up into 4 or 5 key parts. To assist you throughout that application, up the top in the yellow, we've got quick guides, your frequently asked questions, and some key dates for you to follow on. As you move down the application, you will see that things will progressively move from red, which is uncompleted, through to green when they are completed, with a nice tick next to it. So you will need to get all those green ticks done before you submit your application. Using that side menu on that blue side menu, you can jump into the different parts of the application. If you feel like you can complete one earlier than the other, there's a bit of freedom to move around there. Beneath that is a summary of your application details. As you can see, it's on the home page, so you can really easily keep track of where your application's at, and making sure that you're progressing through to make sure you're hitting that deadline of the 28th of September. All sections default to red, but as you mark it complete, which you need to remember to do throughout your application, it will turn into the green. Another important reminder, as I've said previously, but we are being urged heavily to make sure this is this message is portrayed across to you guys. Please focus on that school's assessment page. Get that done as soon as possible. Co-op automatically sends off a link to your careers advisor if you feel like you need to nominate someone else. That you can do that on your own, but please make sure that that information has gotten to your school's careers advisor or principal, and that they're aware that it needs to be done prior to the 28th of September so that your application can be processed. Okay, so here's that message again. So supporting documentation, in addition to what I've just said, a pretty big stat for you guys is there are currently, as of midday today, 78% of applications that have not completed the school's assessment page. So please get onto that. That's a really important one. School teachers can go on holidays. Your careers advisor might not be available, super busy.
Not nominated.
Okay. So you please do go ahead and nominate those careers advisors, because yeah, your application cannot be processed without that. For gap year students, a reminder is for you guys that you do not need to complete this. You are not at school anymore, you've had a year off, so all you will need to do is submit a gap year explanation to tell us a bit about what you've experienced and why you've chosen to take that time off. Okay. So moving on to the application questions, the first thing you need to do is put in a selection of your program preferences. So there is the option to select to put in 3 different preferences. The recommendation here is really have a think about how you can actually tailor your application if you are to put in multiple preferences. If you're looking at applying for instance, the finance program, I would not recommend putting in 2 engineering programs after that, because it's going to be very hard to convince the people reading these applications that you can be this fantastic finance person and also put on the hard hat and go out and be an engineer and do all those things as well. You may have the skills to do both, but for the purposes of these applications, I'd recommend that you make it more targeted so that you can get the most out of the questions and show yourself off in the best possible way in a targeted manner. Also be aware that there are character limits for each question. So the best way to sort of draft things is to have a Word document, copy down each of the questions, copy down the relevant character limits, and then work within those before actually uploading them onto the application online. Once you've drafted them and you're happy with them and you put them in, it's important that you need to keep track of your progress by ticking the box down the bottom to say yes, it's complete, and then hitting down the bottom again, save, so that we don't lose any of your work. So this page is the application questions summary homepage. So this will keep track of, based off you ticking and saving those responses as per the previous slide, this will show which of those has actually been completed. So for instance here, 1A is done, but 1B still needs to be completed. So easy way to check in, have I done all the work prior to sort of having a download of your application and reading it through. Rural question summaries will also appear here if you selected to apply for it. This is a sort of browser tip. So any of the bugs that you may be experiencing during your application process, they can very easily be fixed by using an Internet Explorer browser, so the latest updated version of that. The application is said to speak best to Internet Explorer, so that is your go-to. If there are any further bugs and you can't figure anything out, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email or post on the live chat now to get that sorted so you can move on with your application. The next section, so the first set of application questions, is your co-curricular activities. In here, you're allowed to list quite a few activities from a selected drop-down menu. That drop-down menu will appear once you start typing in your selected extracurricular. So that's how that functions. If you've done something that's not in the list, please enter it into question 1B, where you have space to sort of talk about the things that aren't specifically listed from our drop-down menu. Also important to remember that we focus on more recent and relevant activities. So if you did win the Nationals cross country back in year 6, that's a fantastic achievement, but probably not as relevant as some work experience that you've done in year 10 or year 11 that shows a genuine interest or some skills that might be useful for your particular co-op that you're applying for. We also want you to focus on quality rather than quantity. Listing down 400 different activities that you've done, whilst very impressive, may not be as effective in applying as writing about some quality, relevant topics that you can put down. Having said that though, please still put in extracurriculars that you participated in junior high school if these were super significant to your learnings, and you can sort of tell a story about how you've developed over that time to show that these were actually really crucial to you becoming the person you are today and why you've chosen to apply for the things you are. So this slide looks at your educational background. This is pretty straightforward. As you go along, put in your subjects, put in any marks that you have received. Please be honest, we'll find out if you inflate your marks. We chat to teachers and chat to schools. So put in what you've got, put them in whichever order you think is the best way to do it. We'll read them all and then go from there. A key tips page. So on the whole, if you haven't registered, please make a start as soon as possible if you are serious about applying. Applications are closing on the 28th of September. You've got about a month and a half, just over that, to sort of get through your application. And I understand most of you will be going through trials periods soon. So if you aren't in the midst of that yet and you have a little bit of spare time, please, I urge you to get onto this application. The best applications we see are not the ones that are written up the night before. They're the ones that have been put through a few sets of eyes. They've been read over. They've really thought about the application and how best to appeal to the particular co-ops that they're actually applying for. Second one, complete your school's assessment, the main motif of today's presentation. Please get that in. If you haven't nominated who you want your school's assessment to go to and be filled out by, you need to do that as soon as possible. The third step in that is to make sure you are reviewing as you go along. And just a brief message on the education stuff to add. So if you're not doing the HSC, please just fill in, just enter the results as you have them and what you're not doing in those particular courses.
Note what you're doing.
And note what you're doing in those particular courses. So.
New Zealand or interstate or...
Yeah, right. So if you are applying from overseas or from interstate, feel free, you do need to let us know and note those down. So back onto this slide. So as you go along, make sure you're reviewing. Don't make the silly mistakes of like spelling errors or punctuation errors. That's like, you can pour over these applications for hours and hours and hours, and then a fresh set of eyes will look at it and tell you 5 things that are wrong with it. So that's the bonus of getting it run through your parents, your friends, your careers advisors, anyone who has relevant experience. That'd be good. Making sure that you are using this opportunity to actually boast about your achievements. If you don't include it, we can't consider it. So in that, making sure when you boast, you are doing it from the perspective of what skills have you learned from those activities that make you suitable to the program. We don't want to hear all these fantastic achievements and see no link between that and why you'd be a good candidate. We want to see, okay, what have you learned from the experiences? How have you developed, and why do you think you'd be a great fit for the program? And to reiterate, the applications closed 28th of September. That is a hard deadline. Make sure you click submit. We have lots of people who hit save. They've got all the green ticks on their application, but they haven't actually hit that submit button, and we cannot give any scholarships away to people who don't submit applications. If you have any further queries about the application process and you're not hitting us up on the live chat right now, there is an application tutorial in the YouTube link on the screen now. So let's have a look at some of the questions. So we've had a few come in on the live chat.
So how many co-op programs can I apply for?
So the number of co-op programs that you can apply for is limited to 3, which is the number that you can actually fill in on that earlier page that we had up. So you can list down, you don't have to put in 3. Have a think about who you do put down and why you are considering those, because it may indeed be harder to write an application for 3 different co-op programs than it is to write 1. So if you are serious about 1, don't feel the need to put in another 2. But yeah, that's up to you. So the answer to that maximum is 3.
And how much time should I leave to submit my co-op application schools assessment?
So I think we hit that one before.
We did it. Okay, so moving on, we've got how many co-op scholarships are Sorry, it's just gone. Are given
It's
altogether.
given altogether. So across the different programs, it varies year on year depending on the number of sponsors that sign on. Typically, we see around 80 scholarships given per year. That's, yeah, as I said, it is dependent on how many sponsors sign on to the actual program and the quality of the candidates that we get. So yeah, as a rough number, 80. And then I think we've got a few more frequently asked questions to just run through on our slides.
So can I undertake a dual degree with co-op?
And as it says on the screen, no, not initially. So when you're accepted into the co-op program, you're not allowed to do that as part of a dual degree. Under certain circumstances, if the student performs very well, can show that they can handle all the extra rigors of the co-op program on top of just a normal university degree, then there can be the option to tack on another degree, but that is a no initially.
And can I defer my scholarship?
So no, unfortunately you cannot defer your scholarship. You need to reapply next year because yeah, we have a huge, essentially the demand of the sponsors is that each year they have a set number of people going through the program to fulfill the sort of the placements that are offered. So you will need to reapply in the next year.
And what about if I want to take a gap year? Can I still apply for co-op?
Yep, so you definitely can. You take your gap year and if you've had experience applying in year 12, that'd be great, but you will need to reapply in the appropriate time frame for the following year once you've completed your gap year.
So I guess this is just a bit of a repeat, but can I apply for co-op and other scholarships?
Yeah, so a bit of a refresher of the earlier questions for those who have tuned in late into the video. So the answer is yes. You can combine co-op with certain scholarships, so you can get the AAA scholarship or the CNTI, but you cannot have all three. The easiest way to find out what you can apply for, what you'd still be applicable for if you did get accepted into the co-op program, is to check online on the scholarships page.
And do bonus points go towards the co-op ATAR requirement?
So unfortunately, the bonus points, all the bonus points or adjustment factors as they're currently called, cannot be attributed to your ATAR in applying for co-op. The only ones that we do look at are your educational access scheme factors.
And what are the key dates that I should remember?
So I wonder if we have them here. These
So the 28th of September is the application due date for a co-op, and 30th September for scholarships application. So those are two to remember. And we also have the
open day
on
the 1st.
So definitely make sure you come along and check out all of the faculty exhibitions and come visit us in the scholarships lounge.
Yep. And then for the co-op process specifically, you will receive notification of whether or not you have an interview offer on November the 9th. And then you will be invited to a co-op interview briefing day if you are offered an interview, and that will be on the 22nd of November, where you'll have to come in. The important thing to remember there is that is post your HSC, so if you are serious about co-op, you need to think about your schoolies plans or your post-school plans to make sure that you are available for those dates, because the briefing day is on the 22nd, and then the very next day on the 23rd is when your interviews will actually happen. So those are the really important dates. On the screen now, we've got a couple more frequently asked questions. So on there, we've got, can I still submit my application if my supporting documentation or school's assessment page has not been completed? Yes, so long as you have nominated. So please nominate ASAP, as we've been saying all video. Question, my activity doesn't appear in the list. Does that mean it's not important? Not at all. In question 1, part A, we tried to include everything, but extracurriculars are endless in how many there are, so it's impossible to sort of have a drop-down menu for everything. So if there is something that's not there, don't panic. That's why we've got question 1, part B, to make sure that you can tell us about everything that you've done. Next one, what supporting documentation is considered? Should I send you my resume? No, please don't send us your resume. the point of the application is that you don't need to send us a resume. We get everything out of that we want, and that will be the only documentation that we need. The only thing that we need in excess of what's in the application to upload is the contents of your application, which is the academic results. How I know if my application has been submitted successfully, as I said, after you submit, you will receive an email confirmation that you've actually that it has actually been received by COP, and then you'll have to wait till November 9, where everything is finalised, and you'll be notified if you have an interview offer. And do we have any more questions from the live stream? We do not. So I think for us, that's we've got one more page, this beautiful scholarship timeline, which sort of maps everything out. So if you have sort of tuned in and out throughout the video, this is probably the main one to take notice of in terms of dates. So the next one we've got coming up, 1st of September, is the open day. Perfect chance to come along, get more information about the university, ask scholarships, lots of fun questions, which I'm sure Erin will be happy to take. Co-op will have a presence there, so feel free to come up and ask questions there. Then, as we said, the 28th of September is the application close for co-op, and the 30th of September is the scholarships application deadline for general scholarships. And following on the 9th, 22nd and 23rd of November are the key dates for interviews. Then offers will be announced on the 6th of December, pending, and those will be conditional offers pending how you actually go with your ATAR.
Next one of these.
Oh, and this has been a fantastic Google Hangout, the 3rd one in the series. The 4th one will be coming up on the 9th of September. So 19th of September, in fact. So that'll be about 9 days out from the application close. So feel free to tune in next time and have lots of questions ready for us as the mad scram to get it all in on time finishes up. So thanks, guys. Good luck with the application. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you.